That's a nice. Okay, are you ready?
Yeah, we're ready.
Vampires of the world, cower in fear because I'm holding a Daywalker sword. Hi, it's Adam Savage here in my cave with Prop Store's Brandon Alinger. Hello, sir.
Hey, good to see you.
Good to see you. Brandon shows up here from time to time bringing some toys, and in this case, it's because you guys are having a really amazing auction.
Yeah, I thought you might like to see some of the pieces that are coming up for sale. You know, this is the Entertainment Memorabilia Live auction, so it's one of the big ones, one of the biggest auctions we do all year, and we find some great stuff from all different films, you know, all genres and decades of Hollywood history, but especially sort of the 1970s on, the stuff that I grew up with and love, the stuff that I think you maybe have an affinity for. And
this is the one you save lots for this auction.
This is what we're working on all year. We're trying to find the good stuff so it can be here in this auction. And you know, we find some really great pieces. And the thing I love about this one, this blade sword, is when you handle it, you immediately know this is a real film prop. It's not a replica.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of weirdness going on with it, right?
It rattles a little bit. You've got some brazing on the back here. Is that from effects work?
Yeah, I mean, that's what's so interesting about this. I've never seen another one like it, but if you look on the other side of the blade, there's this huge coloration, these burn effects going on, where they basically put some kind of electric charge on it to get a practical spark for, you know, when he's swinging it like a madman in these sword fights, and they wanted insert shots, I'm sure, of just sparks going off as he hits other swords. They did it with electricity, or maybe they put it, I don't know, I mean, how do you think they would do this? Charge on the blade, and then he really swings it, or I don't know.
It's a good question. If you want a spark, I mean, one way to do it is to have power going to the sword and grounded on the thing you're hitting and get a spark, but you don't want to do that to an actor.
Right.
So then you've got some effects thing here that looks like it might have been brazed to the steel of the sword, because this is both a ground and then chromed steel blade. Did Tony Swatton do this one?
I know Tony Swatton did the main swords for the film. I don't know if this is, I mean, it would make sense that it's one of his blades. I just don't know if maybe it's something a little different because of the effects nature of it. So I can't speak to that definitively. Sometimes Swatton puts a stamp on his blades, but I don't think he did for the film-used blade swords.
Yeah.
I've seen replicas he did later that have his stamp on them.
Interestingly, the grip, the handle here looks like it's cast aluminum.
Yeah, it's heavy. Right?
Yeah,
Very
it's so
heavy.
Cast aluminum is not a common film process for props.
Right.
I mean, it's been used a bunch, but that is really
it's advanced and expensive, right?
Yeah, and oh man, there's like moving parts. It rattles a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, and so it's really fascinating. I mean, I love stuff like this where, maybe.
Oh, I see. All right, maybe we can
take
find
a look.
it. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, let's do this. It's where you find the maker's name marked inside.
Yeah, and you can see the two halves of the aluminum foundry casting.
Yeah.
And then this
cool.
comes. All right. Ooh. Oh yeah, you can see the Sharpie mark for where they drew the center line for the fuller. Oh my God, it's welded onto the thing. So it's very likely they made all the blades and then made rat tails on them for different.
I don't know if there's any clues as to who made it, but it is very cool to see the handle broken down like that. Because I didn't even realize that it's multiple components, but of course it makes sense.
That is super neat. Thank you for letting me do that.
Hey, I know when I hand things to you, there's a 50% chance that
I'm gonna start
you'll be
taking it
dissecting
apart.
it. Yeah. The investigation.
Oh, it is a really amazing piece, and I love that it's steel. I mean, obviously they probably had many different swords for the film, some steel, some in other materials. I would assume.
Yes. I mean, we've definitely seen rubber swords and maybe even balsa wood. You know, a lot of times for real action sequences, they use very lightweight balsa wood.
Wow.
Because it snaps, right? So if it comes into contact with somebody's neck or something that it shouldn't, it'll just snap. As opposed to rubber, where they've got to run a metal core through it of some kind to keep it supported, and it can still be a little bit dangerous. But I just loved everything going on the blade with this, because again, you would never see something like that in a replica. It's obviously been handled by an effects team on a film set. I mean, so you're speculating that maybe they welded something or soldered something onto it there?
Yeah, so what I can see is that somebody ground away some of the chrome, which you would need to do before brazing to it.
Yeah.
And then I see this brazing artifact, but it looks like there was something put here that got then heated and removed. So it could have been,
Maybe that's where the electrical current
it could
went
be,
into
or
it?
or they maybe put a squib or something that was activated by hitting it on something. I don't know.
But then on the opposite side is where
this
you've got
bluing,
these,
is clearly.
and there's multiple. I mean, you've got one there, one down here at the bottom.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I mean, that's got to be from some kind of effect. And then I don't know if this is just rust from age or if that's somehow connected to the practical effect also.
I think that's rust from age, is my guess, because it's inconsistent and it sort of follows, you know. The thing about steel blades is people don't know, you can never really touch them without immediately wiping them down. Otherwise, they'll just slowly
instantly.
rust. Yeah, your finger oils are terrible. Also, I can see that I put the handle on backwards, so hold on just a second.
We'll fix that. We've got reference pictures. No problem.
I don't want to do that on camera. That would be like...
But, you know, we were talking earlier about how fascinating it is to see kind of behind the magician's curtain with props and costumes and to understand how they're made and really to just see and appreciate the artistry that goes into making something like this. And then the ingenuity that goes into figuring out the practical gag of how are we going to do this? You know, it'd be interesting to go look at the film now and see if we could work out what shots this was used for.
Exactly. And my guess would be, given that it's a steel blade, that it definitely stood in for some real close-ups. Because it's like in Lord of the Rings, obviously they have all these different swords, but for the extreme close-ups, that was all like high-quality steel blades.
Yeah.
And the grind on this, it's clearly hand-done, but I feel like it is Tony's work because it's just so good.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I thought this was a great sword design, also a great movie. I mean, the first Blade, when that came out in '98, before the world was Marvel mad, that was a great movie.
I came across an article recently that said we should all pay homage to Blade for showing how to do a serious superhero movie that still made fun of itself. Because it is. Like, I mean, we used to, at ILM, we used to joke that everything that Chris Christopherson says in that movie could be muttered to you by a crazy person sitting on the park bench next to you. There's a war going on.
But somehow it works.
It totally works. No, I love Blade.
It.
Blade's one of my favorite movies, and I really do think that we have it to thank for our it is like its DNA is still happening in our superhero movies.
Yeah, and great design throughout. Great props, great costumes. This sword, the glaive that he has, he's got that shotgun with the spikes in the front, and then the costume with the long trench coat and like the battle vest. That's all great designs.
There is also this thing that happens to cosplayers who want to do Blade and other movies like it, which is when you have a blade that's mounted to your back, it turns out it's impossible for you to draw it.
Okay.
Because you can't pull it out enough to get out of its scabbard.
Oh, that's interesting.
So on the RPF, there's endless discussions of cosplayers figuring out ways to pull like a bunch out of the side of the scabbard so you can pull it out.
I think it's called a standby props guy. That's the secret. Just get your props assistant pull it out for you.
Exactly.
Here you go, Wesley.
I love that it's a steel blade. I mean, you know, that feels like a rare thing to find in a film blade.
Yes, yeah. And again, really suggested it would have been used for some kind of insert work because, of course, they would never, you know, swing that near another actor.
Oh God, no. Yeah, and it's dull. It's not going to slice them, but it is still incredibly dangerous.
Yeah, and it's got some heft to it.
Yeah. No, it's got a real weight to it. It's a lovely piece.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even notice these like
the glyphs
the
sort of the vampire glyphs, which I think those repeat throughout the movie. You see them in some of the sets and the blood temples and things like that. So again, just more great design in Blade. Makes me want to go watch the film again. I haven't seen Blade for a while.
I think I'm going to go watch it this evening. I'm pretty sure.
Look for the sword. Tell me if you find it. If you figure out the spark effect.
It's also, frankly, it is unique to come across a film-used weapon that feels so right.
Right. Yes,
right? Like usually the blade's really light, or it
feels real.
Yeah, this feels like if I came across real blade, this is what he would be holding.
Yes, yeah.
The Daywalker sword. Brandon, it's always so nice when you visit. Thank you, sir.
Hey, I thought you'd enjoy seeing this one.
Thank you. I'm not saying thank you for leaving me the blade. No, just for bringing it.
The blade's going to auction. So you can see it there.
You could own it.